Hi guys, how you doing? Well, today I decided I was going to make a video and I really don't know what I'm going to make a video about, so let's just go off the cuff. I just want to say how my health has changed this week, and today I feel my hands are on fire, my feet are on fire, my groin area is on fire, and I've got this coldy type feeling. So I'm also sensing a massive change in shift in thought processes, which is really bizarre. It's either I've changed or somebody else has changed. So the dynamics, a lot of dynamics are changing, and all of this business with labels and things like what's going on in the twin community. I mean, it just seems to be everyone's struggling to find their place and everyone's struggling to find where they belong. So what I can say is, because I speak from the heart, I speak my own truth. I've got nothing to hide. And as one that's lived his life very well, and at 48 years old, I discovered the terminology or the phrase twin flames, and managed to drop the association very quickly thereafter. Because what I was looking for in my quest was a reason for me feeling the way I felt at the time. And when you put things into perspective, it sort of all makes sense. And when I can call her a twin, when my ex-fiance left last August, because let's take the labels away, I think probably it's better. When the woman that I love left last August, along with my children leaving to Australia and me having to move homes and my eldest daughter going into hospital for 10 days, this is a cliff edge moment. And for me, as a person that's lived his life and having gone through some high spells and some low spells, this was a dramatic moment. This was a real question, a real test of my resolve and my integrity and my determination to uphold my promise to my children and to myself. Because at the end of the day, I created by default this position that I find myself in today. And when I reached that point, and I think I've written about it before in one of my articles, when I reached that point last August, I just looked at myself and I looked in the mirror and I just said to myself, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you in this position again? Because inside of me, I know that I'm a nice guy. I know that I'm a good father. I know that I'm an exceptional lover. I know that I'm an exceptional cook, a very creative, very imaginative, a very good person inside. And when a good person keeps having to confront these issues or these situations, life situations that are really quite daunting, we call upon all of our experience and all of our knowledge and we ask why. So at that time I decided to extract myself from society, and I made a clear commitment to getting to know who Dean is, getting to understand why this keeps happening, or why that kept happening, why this keeps happening, why I make this happen, how does this happen, and things like this. And I can't say a doubting Thomas. Even though my name is Dean Thomas, I look at things objectively and push for an answer. And normally the answer I'm seeking is the truth of any situation. And I can recall my corporate lifestyle, the way I ran my businesses, the way I ran other people's businesses. When it came to a question of speaking truth, I would always speak my truth. When it came to speaking somebody else's truth, that didn't resonate with me as an employee, as an employer, as a representative of shareholders. If what I was reading was not true, I would question it. Is this really what's happening? Are you sure that we want to say it this way? We can say it another way. And when you're put into a situation where you're actually speaking somebody else's truth, something inside you hurts, something inside you tells you that this is wrong. And when you reach a crossroads or a crisis or any situation in your life and something doesn't feel right inside you, you have to question, why doesn't it feel right? And then you look within yourself for the answer. And when this whole situation happened last August, I made a commitment to myself, whilst looking in the mirror, we're going to find out who I am. And we're going to do the traditional route, because that was the only route that I knew, or was able to comprehend at that point in life, which was only last August. So I decided to look at things differently. So I decided to have a male psychotherapist and a female psychotherapist, because I thought, well, this is going to give me balance. One perspective is the male perspective, the other perspective is the female perspective, because I really want to understand what's going wrong and why am I continuing to repeat these life patterns, or these life patterns are repeating themselves in my life. I extracted myself from my companies. I gave the keys to my offices to trusted staff members, and I decided I would go to work once a week, and as much as I could I would work from home. And I committed myself to 2 hours with my male psychologist Charles, and 2 hours a week with the female psychologist Giovanna. Charles is a very traditional psychologist, sits back, listens, offers a little bit of guidance, and just is basically a sponge for your woes and your worries. Very little interaction, very little suggestion, very little guidance really. With Giovanna, on day one, I remember her words: I'm going to give you 2 books to read, and this is your homework. I said, okay, this is cool. This is what I need. I need a trigger to get to the inner me. And I can tell you with hand on heart, and I read the email that I sent to her a few days ago. The first page of the book that I read, called Toxic Parents, I was in tears. I was in a ball on the floor, crying my eyes out. After the first page, that's the impact that that first page had on me. And I sent an email to her, and I was looking for help and guidance. She said, no, carry on reading. This is your homework, you need to read it. You can read it as quickly or as slowly as you like, but next week we'll talk, and we'll get to the point where you've got in the book. And from that moment onwards, I immersed myself into understanding my life, the relabeling of different people in my life, recategorizing people, and actually I think I read the book within 10 days. And the second book she gave me was a book called I'm Okay, You're Okay, which is not psychoanalysis, it's transactional analysis. And that book totally resonates, because it does clearly show the patterns that we learn as children are firmly embedded in our psychology as adults. And when we become flustered or into situations where we are uncomfortable or we're challenged, we revert to our childhood psychology. We look for safe places to run. And if that picture's all wrong, as it is, our reaction is wrong, or our response is wrong. So it's the contra to what it should be. And then I started to learn about myself. And I went into understanding who I am, what makes me tick. I examined my life under a microscope, every situation, every occurrence in my life. Because I tell you, once you read these books, you start to close doors on certain parts of your life, your subconscious opens, and in comes more information. This onion that we call it is there. And you have to handle it. You've opened the first layer, now you've got to get to the second layer, the third layer, the fourth layer. Then you finish the first one, then the second one comes. And all of a sudden you get to the truth of who you are. It's a brave journey, because you're confronting yourself. And I say this honestly, it takes a brave person to confront themselves, because you're talking to your nemesis, you're questioning your nemesis, you're questioning everything that you believe in and everything you value. And you examine everything closely. And yes, you have your interactions with your advisors and your guides, your counselors, and you bounce ideas off them. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Then you look at this way. Then perhaps you need to look at it this way. And then you actually slowly get to the core of you. You get to the truth of your personality. You get to the truth of your psyche. And I reached that point, I think, in January this year. January the 6th is when I finished January the 7th, sorry, was the last appointment that I had with Yogana. And she basically said, you're prepared for life now. And I still question, why do I feel this about my twin? This word wasn't mentioned then. I'm using it here and now because it's the word I want to use. Why do I still feel this? And she told me, that's because you love her. I said, but why do I still love her? She said, this is an inherent inside you. You love her. You had a genuine, deep love connection with her. I said, okay. A few days later, I was remembering some things about past life regressions that I'd had 25 years ago, and these memories came back to me, and I started writing them down on pieces of paper, and I formed a picture of this character that I was. There was no name for this character, but there was a clear picture in my mind. I can still replay back the movie today. And then I started to look at my twin's past that I knew of her real past, and I reached a point where I asked a question of Google: did X and Y ever cross paths? And the answer came to me, and there was a clear case. That's a very historic case of true love, and a set of circumstances and a set of situations that led to this true love. And when I examined that further, I found even more synchronicities. I found even more questions to ask. And okay, so this is this and this is this, and when you see this in front of you, apart from all of the other synchronicities that we shared and the commonalities that we shared, and the fact that we were opposites but magnets, you begin to ask, okay, so this is something different. This is not a traditional relationship. This was not a relationship. This was an experience. And I remember the day that I wrote down on the piece of paper all of this timelines, and it all matched, and it applied to the situation that I'm in, and it still applies to the situation I'm in today. And we get to a point where we need to understand, or I certainly do anyway, because understanding is knowledge, and with knowledge you can attempt to not either change something within you, or you have an answer to understand, and then you understand what you need to do. So I remember writing an email, and my original question wasn't about twin flames. My original question was about past lives. And is it possible that this person and this person in today's lifetime can be me and her, and etc, etc, etc. I need help. And the information I got back was about twin flames, but this wasn't the question that I asked. The information I got back was about twin flames. So I was still confused, because I had set up an appointment with this person to discuss my situation, and the person that I had originally contacted was Mel Brand, of which many of you know and many of you have heard of. And I think my appointment was scheduled for the first week of February. And in the meantime, I'm searching for information on twin flames, because the information back to me was twin flames. And you could see the disinformation that's out there. But the most telling piece of information that I had was what had happened to me. And that is my truth. The out-of-body sexual encounters, the ability to talk until the cows came home about everything and anything, some telepathic communication, some knowing of what she's doing when we were not together in different countries. 11/11, for example, we always used to send 11/11 to each other. Maybe that's embedded in our psyche because we got engaged on the 11th of November 2011, but it was embedded in our psychology, embedded in our psyche. And at the time, we do things because they feel right. And today, now I can see there's a reason why I did these things. And this is a message. And this is a message from the universe. And people say, what universe? What God? What Buddha? What Allah? This is a message, a universal message. We do things for a reason. There's no coincidence in life. And we look at our lives and we have to identify with these situations. Okay, why did I do that? And we can look backwards. It's very easy to look back. You can look backwards to go forwards, and you can see everything that you've done get you to the point that you are today. And you can virtually see that as you continue on this twin journey, if you continue to go inside of yourself and get to you, you know that the end result is going to be reunion. So what am I saying? The synchronicities are the synchronicities. I saw her name 6 times this week. I saw her name in every different context, possible, by new connections with other people, by an editor for one of my articles that was published, by an email from another person that mentions this name, and so on and so forth. And even today, I've gone to the shops, which is 50 meters in front of me, and right in front of the shop is a registration number 8888AD. And those are the initials of me and her. So I don't look for these signs. I'm not looking for signs. My eyes are open to receive them. My ears are open to receive them. My mind is open to receive them. They're in front of us. They're around us. I go in my garden every morning. I'm lucky I have a garden. I see beautiful flowers, white flowers, just appear. They weren't there yesterday. My neighbor cuts away a whole garden full of chamomile, and 1 bunch is left. I see blue butterflies. I see blue flowers. So all of these are signs that are special and unique to me. And you guys will have the same unique signs and symbols that you used to have between you. And these are the things that you need to look at. These are the things that you should be looking out for. They're there. Just open your eyes, you'll find them. And if you don't find them, they'll force themselves in your lives. And the reality is, and I think the reality is, you can take the labels away of twin and soulmate and all of this, let's say, stuff that is baffling everyone, and you can take it down to something very, very simple. True love. True love never dies. This may be an old saying, this may be an old myth, but it's a fact. True love never dies. A lot of you were in love with your first love. A lot of you have had your last relationship is what you feel is true love. But to know that it's true love, you need to go inside yourself to get rid of all the crap and garbage that you've brought with you, whether it's from this lifetime, last lifetime, your parents' lifetimes, or your life situation. You get rid of all that garbage. And if at the end of the day, you still come out and you still have this person's image in your face, or you're still seeing these signs that this person exists, you're not going crazy. You may think you are, and other people may think you are, but you're not going crazy. This is something that's saying to you that there is something here for you to look at. And you're not going to get to a stage of getting back together again. Let's forget the word reunion. Getting back together again until you've got all your ducks in a row. And you can say to yourself, yeah, I've done psychology, yes, I've done this, yes, I've done that, I've downloaded everything from the universe and I'm ready to go. When you try and go, what's going to happen? You're not going to be ready, or the other person's not there. I've already said what I'm going to do to myself, and it's not when, it's I will. I will do this, I will fly there, I will do this, I will do that, and I will do the other bits that I need to do whilst I'm there. And I will see. I have a reason to go to see. And that's me stepping out of my comfort zone, which is the last image that this person has of me, is in a very uncomfortable situation, crying like a baby. That's the last picture that they have of us, if that's applicable to you. So that's not a very nice picture to see every day. Every time they see your name, every time they hear your voice, every time that they get an email from you. That's not a very nice picture to have in their mind. So what I can say is, I know what I need to do to get my life in order. I'm slowly getting there. I've done a lot of work on myself. I know internally, from a psychological perspective, I'm not suffering from any of these crazy symptoms because I've been diagnosed as crystal clear by 2 independent psychologists. So I know what I'm feeling is coming from me. And we want to go home. Home is where the heart is. And that's the truth. Home is where the heart is. It doesn't matter where you live in the world, whether you live in a tent, whether you live in a shack, whether you live in a luxury mansion. Love. Home is where the heart is. And the heart is love. So the moral of the story is, you have to love yourself. You have to be happy in yourself, in everything you believe and everything that you do. And I recall every bad period in my life where I've been down on my luck, down in my situation, and I've been in some really down situations. And what's happened is we always bounce back. And this is fact, we always do. If we don't bounce back, we stay in this level playing field and we go nowhere. We just plod along and we're doing our thing. But if we want to get anywhere, if we really want to achieve what we want to achieve, we want to achieve our dreams, we have to be happy in ourselves. I'm getting happier every day. Yes, I've had a bad week this week. I had another mini DNOS this week. But there's a reason for it, because it's there that it needs to be exposed, it needs to be expelled. And I'm sure what I'm feeling today is again, it's symptoms that need to come out of my body. And right now my hands are boiling hot, but they're freezing cold. So get to the truth of who you are. Yes, it's really hard work. It's really hard work. You have to go to those darkest places that you don't want to go to. But you have to get there. You have to go past it, because these are the things that are holding you back. You've got a rucksack on your back that's got 60 kilos on it. You want to get that down to 6 kilos. Because it's okay to meet the person that you love, the love of your life, with 6 kilos on your back. Because when you get there, you'll take the backpack off. Because it will just have your overnight stuff. Right now you're carrying all this, whether it's 40 kilos, 60 kilos or 100 kilos. It's certainly not 6 kilos. I'm going to see her with 6 kilos on my back, and it's just going to be for overnight. And what happens, happens. And I do remember watching a video yesterday, and it triggered something in me. It was about divine timing. What is divine timing? You're in control of divine timing. If you're waiting for for God to deliver you a package on your doorstep or a letter to say it's time to go, forget it. You are in control of that. And the only thing stopping you from achieving that is your inner fear. Your lack of self-esteem, your lack of confidence, your lack of standing within yourself. And I don't mean to sound condescending, because I'm not, because I have been in this place where, oh, I don't want to go there because of this, I don't want to send this because of this. I've been there. And what I'm telling you today is what I'm living and what I've lived. It's not based upon a psychic connection, a medium connection, or anything other than my life experience. And I feel I've lived an amazing life, and I have. I've got 3 amazing children. I'm the father to 6 children, and I include my twin son in that because I was his father. And you stand on this plateau and you're going to run. And ultimately, somebody that you've loved before and somebody that's been in love with you is always going to have a special place for you, unless you've been a real XYZ, or you've created some travesty or something in their lives. I'm glad that I haven't. I'm glad that I wasn't an asshole. I'm glad I didn't badmouth. I'm glad that I had the respect for myself to say, I want to get better. And no matter what happens when I see her, I know who I am. I've dealt with my truth. I'm dealing with my truth on a day-by-day basis, and I live my truth. Whether you want to call it twin flames, soulmates, true love, I believe true love never dies. I believe that I am this definition of twin flame, the real definition of twin flame. And I believe that it's my role as a light worker to ensure that those that are confused and baffled by the bullshit and the real bullshit that's being promoted by the gurus and the experts of this journey, who haven't experienced this journey and in all honesty haven't experienced anything about life. They're still stuck in their countries, they're still stuck in their villages, they're still stuck wherever they're stuck. They haven't seen different cultures, they haven't lived in different countries, they haven't experienced different ways of living in different lives. This is me. I'm a t-shirts and jeans guy. And one thing I want to show you now, this that I wear, this is something that my twin gave me when we met. I think it's the same year. It says eternal love on the back. It is no fake. This is from my son. This is a scroll, a script, the first love letter from her. And it was given to me on Valentine's Day 2012. I still have it. These little notes, maybe I'm a sentimentalist, maybe I'm whatever you want to think, but these little things, these little notes are all from her, from years ago. And they've travelled with me around the world. I could have quite easily thrown them away, but I didn't. I know they're special. They were special when they were given to me, and they're still special today. The words that are written here, I can read some of them. I don't want to share all of them, but I will read some of them. Where does it say? I know exactly that we were meant to meet each other and be together. I feel that I know you for a lifetime, and I want to live all my life with you. Simple, natural, happy life. I remember the first time you hugged me, the first time I felt your beating heart. This is what she wrote in 2012. Valentine's Day, actually, 2012. And for those of you that know me, here's yet another synchronicity that I'll share with you. Bear in mind, this is the last gift she gave me. This is a keyring. And this is not where my vision and mission was born from, because I discovered this keyring maybe about a month ago. Because I had a little box that I kept all my pieces of paper from her in. And it's a lighthouse. It's from the Fiacre de Cap Ferret in France. This is where she went on a holiday last year with her family before she left. And this was the gift she gave me. So when the skeptics want to question the value of twin flames or true love, and they ask for evidence to support this case, that we're given information, we're given messages. These are messages. This is all messages. And that key ring, that's even another affirmation that I'm on the right path. So I'm totally grateful for the experience that I shared with her. I'm totally grateful for the time that I spent on this planet. And I have got lots of work to do. And I will continue to share this truth, because it is the truth. It's the truth of me, and it's probably the truth of many of you. You just need to look for it. And when you're ready to go and meet your twin, I know when I'll be ready. When my financial situation is sorted, because everything else is in place. I've got a little psychological work to do, I feel. But this will be done. And I know when I'm going, because I'm going to will it to happen. Believe in yourself. Believe in everything inside of you, that what you feel is true. And true love never dies. Chase your dreams. Chase your ambitions. We all do it in every day. We all do it in our job. We all do it for our kids. So why not do it for the one that we love? Only the truth will prevail. And only you know the truth. And when you can look inside your heart and say, yeah, you know what? This is the truth. I'm ready to go and see. And if you get a second opportunity to be together under the new you, just think how good it's going to be. And if you don't get the second opportunity because they don't see it that way, then go and love somebody else. Love yourself, and somebody will come to you. This is the law of attraction. This is universal power. This is universal love. There you go, my friends. On that note, I think I'm going to finish now. I send you all my love. I send you all my best wishes. And have a great weekend. Bye-bye.